Do you ever find yourself watching something that is so irritable, so bizarre, so strangely addicting, and then when it comes time to really talk about it, you're not really sure what to say, and it takes you a while to really get your feelings down so you can convey everything you want to convey in the right way? And no, I'm not talking about Miley Cyrus's tongue. I'm talking about a certain anime, and let's just go with it. I'm going to try and be intelligent, get my opinions out in a respectful way, and throw in a few laughs. Here's hoping it works. Cue title scene. Sword Art Online was the biggest anime of 2012, and when I heard about it, I wanted to check it out. Luckily for me, it was just about to premiere on the Toonami block on Cartoon Network, and I was excited, and I got ready to watch it, and I loved the first 2 episodes of this show. Visually, it is beautiful. I think the action is amazing, real kick-ass, just everything technical about this show is perfect. Score, sound, just all around a great-looking show. And our plot's really interesting, too. Basically, the concept is that it's the near future, and what I liked is they didn't go overboard with the near future. No flying cars, no androids. We don't really see the real world too much, but that was okay at first because they were just establishing it. And by establishing it as being the near future and looking very real to what our own present looks like, and a realistic and subtle look on things, I thought was really welcomed. And our story is simple. There is now video game technology that allows you to put on a helmet, and it will basically transport your mind into the game, or beam the mind directly in your head, depending on how you want to look at it. And basically, the way this works is, well, like I just described, we now have the newest and greatest video game called Sword Art Online, hence the title. And basically, the way it works is our characters go in, and at first everything seems normal and fine, and they do a good job of introducing to how the basic concepts of the game work and the logic to everything, and that came across very well. But trouble then ensues as our bad guy, Akihito Kayaba or something like that, shows up. And as we are revealed, he has trapped everyone in the game. It is physically impossible for them to log out, and in the event the helmet is removed, it will release an electronic pulse frying their brain like last night's leftovers. But there's another twist here too. In the event their point meter, the thing that predicts your life and stuff, hits 0, they will also die. So essentially there's only one thing to do: survive by making it through 100 levels that so far no one has even gotten close to beating, even in beta tests and shit. And I thought this was going to be a really great show. I thought this was an intelligent concept, an interesting idea. What happens if a madman gets his hands on this great technology and just traps people in a future where we're so reliant on technology, we will literally trust our very minds with it. Not too much different from how things are now, and I thought there'd be some great social satire and some nice commentating on the future and stuff, and just a really overall good show. Unfortunately, after that, the problems begin. And when I say problems, I mean everything else. Yeah, this show's really not that good. And I think a lot of the problems comes from its execution. For example, remember that villain I just said? Remember how interesting he seemed? Don't get used to him. He's not going to show up at all. He won't even be mentioned. He's going to show up randomly a couple times in the show, but other than that, he will have no impact on anything. Any sense of social commentating or establishing any more the world we're living in? Gone. There will be no sense of what is happening in the outside world, no real look into reality or human intelligence or survival or anything. We are just going to spend all our time with our main character. Okay, I thought, fair. I'm looking at the show for what I want it to be, not what it is. This is meant to be something very character-driven. Unfortunately, our character is not very good. Our main character is named Kirito, and basically Kirito's whole premise is that he is a loner who hangs out in his rooms and plays video games all day. Because, you know, it's not like the loner nerd has been really used too much at this point, and it's not like we can't keep using it no matter how much it feels like people are getting tired of it. But it could be interesting if he's got an interesting character to him. He does not. This guy has absolutely no personality or consistent character traits. Literally think about what he says, for those of you calling me bullshit right now. Every time he says something, he does the opposite the next minute later. This guy has nothing about him redeeming or reliable or consistent at all. Just every 10 seconds, his personality changes to just suit where the plot's going. And because the plot isn't really using any established elements to begin with, I don't care, because nothing makes any sense. He's literally like, I will help you and protect you. Nah, bye, bitch. Then he's like, I'm going to be a loner on my own. Now I'm with more people. Then I'm alone again. I swear, it just goes on and on and on. I never know if he's supposed to be a happy person, a whiny person. There's just nothing consistent about him at all. Even when you learn his backstory, it doesn't help. Because his backstory, when you really think about it, makes no sense at all. It's just a completely unnecessary waste of a character. I literally found myself screaming at certain points, God damn it, Ash Ketchum, kick this guy's ass! He's just so bland, boring, and annoying. Literally, he makes Anakin Skywalker bearable. But maybe we could be saved by our female character, Asuna. For those of you who have seen marketing for this show, you know they're really marketing her a lot. They've got little plushes of her, toys and crap, which is creepy because this show's for young adults, but whatever. And to be perfectly honest, at first, she's really interesting too. She's like this Xena warrior stuff. We don't really learn about her at first, but she's cool. She kicks ass. She's awesome. She stands up for herself. You can see how she's a normal person trapped in this abnormal situation. You get a feeling it's making her into a cold person. You get a feeling she's scared, and that fear is turning her darker and making her bad or maybe good. You don't know, because you're so interested you want to see what happens next. Then she becomes our generic, annoying, clings to him every time like Bruce, screams practically every word she says, generic, annoying girlfriend. And at the end of the day, that is Sword Art Online's problem. It has many good ideas. At no point am I ever calling bullshit on anything they bring up, but it never uses anything to its advantage. It just copies everything it sees. And because of this is one of the most shallow shows I have ever seen in my life. There is no depth or greater meaning to anything, because anything they could do that with, they don't go anywhere with. Every time it just brings up another random element that they think is doing good. Love triangles are popular thanks to Twilight, so we're going to throw that in there at some point. Loner nerds are popular thanks to Spider-Man. That shows up. It's just a really annoying, bad waste of just anything. And the problem is they want these characters to be what drives everything. But I don't like them. If I knew someone like Kirito in real life, I'd avoid him. He's a douche, and he acts like a terrible human being. And if I knew a girl like Asuna, or what I assume Asuna is supposed to be like, because God knows there's nothing consistent about her either, I'd tell her to dump his ass. I'd then ask her to put her ass on my lap, but that's another discussion. At the end of the day, Sword Art Online isn't boring, but only because the action's cool, and a lot of times the dialogue and just everything going on is so bad, ridiculous, and terrible, it's laughable. I found myself laughing at this show, and it was not intentional. I just thought this show was a complete waste of time with no real effort put in anything, just a giant cash grab, and it's just a waste. I understand it has a big fan base, and I respect that. If you like it, that's your prerogative. But I'm saying, for me, Sword Art Online is a 4 out of 10 on the Sci-Fi Show. I could go on for days for everything wrong with this show, but at the end of the day, Sword Art Online is not an excellent anime that everyone keeps saying it is. It's just a boring sci-fi anime with no plot or story or context to anything. But what are you going to do? And what did you think of it? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on Sword Art Online. Tell me what your favorite thrown into dangerous societal talk plot is. You figure out what that means, good for you. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, because I am both an anime and a movie reviewer. And I got more stuff to talk about, because let's face it, this stuff keeps giving us stuff to talk about.